Do you know who these people are? If you're awake, you need to tell as many people as possible. Because these guys are the biggest scabs in the world. They are scabs. And if you're asleep, I don't know what you've been doing. How can you be asleep in the year 2023? And how can you still be asleep? I can't believe there's still people out there that don't know who these guys are. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly who they are and everything they've been up to and what they're planning, because it's happening right now. And it's like I say, if people are still asleep out there, you need to really have a word with yourself. And people who are awake, it's your duty to tell as many people as possible and to get it out there. If you're awake and not doing that, then you really need to be. These guys are some of the most richest people in the world, most powerful people in the world, and they've formed a group called the Bilderberg Group. And if you haven't heard of them, then you really want to. The Bilderberg Group of the world's most wealthiest and powerful people. They attend an annual meeting once every year. People who attend include royalty, presidents, prime ministers, chief executives of major international conglomerates, media moguls, and world bankers, and many more. The first Bilderberg Group meeting was held in 1954, and the organisation was co-founded by Prince Bernhard, and he was originally from Netherlands, and Joseph Reitinger, he was from Poland. Now, Prince Bernhard, he was a party member of the Nazi Party up until 1934, and he also worked for the German chemical company called IG Farben that made the poisonous gas used to kill people in a German death camp. The other founding member was a secret spy for the Vatican who was expelled from Allied countries for his activities in association with the Jesuits. He was also created the Council of Europe in 1949, which eventually led to the foundation of the European Union. They founded the Bilderberg Group with the intent to create powerful connections between European countries and North Americans. The meeting is a secretive, informal discussion about global trends with open communication between the elite members of the world who have massive influence in world affairs. Members of the Bilderberg Group are some of the richest and most powerful people in the world, as you know. But you'll be surprised some of the names on this list. I'm just going to call them all out. People that have been there, like Angela Merkel, Beatrix of the Netherlands, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Bill Gates, Prince of Wales, Charlie Rose, Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, David Cameron, Enoch Powell, Frank McKenna, George P. Schultz, George Soros, Gerard Ford, Gordon Brown, Crown Prince of Norway, Harald V of Norway, Henry Kissinger, Jeff Bezos, John Edwards, John Kerr, John Kerry, John Huntsman Jr., Juan Carlos I of Spain, Lawrence Summers, Lester B. Pearson, Margaret Thatcher, Mark Sanford, Paul Volcker, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, Queen Sophia of Spain, Rick Perry, Sandy Berger, William F. Buckley Jr., George Osborne, Tony Blair, Robert Zoellick, who's the former president of the World Bank, Sigmund Warburg, Albert Bourla, who's the chairman of Pfizer, Robert Dudley, who's the group chief executive of BP, Niall Ferguson, professor of Harvard University, and last but not least, David Rockefeller. David Icke once said, the Bilderbergers are shape-shifting lizards, doing all the work of the Illuminati. They are a satanic cabal that controls everything that happens in the world, with the intention of enslaving the entire race. Which sounds pretty accurate, doesn't it? Alex Jones from InfoWars consistently rants on air about this evil group and says everything which appears and are happening in the world is actually a result of them, and behind the scenes manipulation of members from this group. Paul Warburg founded the Council on Foreign Relations in 1921. David Rockefeller founded the Trilateral Commission. These organisations are similar to the Bilderberg Group. David Rockefeller is a member of all. Just like the Bilderberg Group, the powerful members of the Council of Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission have influenced the globe for decades. Co-founder of the Council on Foreign Relations was Edward Mandell House. Two things happened with his influence. During the December 1913 holiday season, when many of the lawmakers were not working, the Federal Reserve Act was quietly passed, which gave the power to create money to the bank. The 16th Amendment was ratified during February 1914. This amendment created the Federal Reserve income tax in order to have tax revenues to pay the debt for the money loaned to the government by the bankers. Americans have these powerful men to blame for creating massive US debt and for US. The goal of the Council on Foreign Relations and the Bilderberg Group is to create a one world government with a central global financial system. Two groups work together. The Council on Foreign Relations works on the US side and the Bilderberg Group for the European side. During the 1992 Bilderberg Group meeting, Henry Kissinger said, "Today Americans will be outraged if UN troops entered Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told they were an absolute threat from beyond, whether real or imagined. That threat, our very existence, it is then that all people of the world will plead for the world leaders to deliver them from the evil. Individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by their world government. They know that the destruction of the US dollar is necessary in order to replace it with the world currency. The bankers have been eroding the value of the US dollar for a very long time, and the dollar is less than 2% of what the US dollar was worth 100 years ago. One way the Bilderberg Group can reduce the human population is by causing pandemics, biological agents intentionally used to cause major outbreaks of illness, which kills millions. Many of the super elite have so little concern for the masses, and they consider the same thing as culling a herd of animals. No matter what the case, as long as the elite can survive the outbreak along with their friends and families, this is all they care about. A Bilderberg member, Richard Salant, who was president of CBS News during the 1960s and 1970s, said, "Our job is not to give people what they want, but to decide what they should have." The Bilderberg Group want to build an empire by its creation to trade zones, trade agreement, that benefits the multinational corporations that they have little interest in improving the economic levels of the lower classes, as long as there is enough of them to buy the products. All the jobs moved into the places of lowest wages, no benefits, bad working conditions to maximise profits. Workers in the Apple factory in China are jumping out the windows to commit suicide because of the heavy workload, but they're even putting suicide nets outside the factory, but yet the workers' conditions do not change and the Apple's profits are soaring. Even though their goal is for one world government, they realise that it can only be achieved one step at a time. They've already worked on this goal for decades. It took over 50 years for the members of the EU to lose their sovereignty. Up to 80% of the European laws are now created by nameless, unelected bureaucrats working in Luxembourg or Brussels. The Bilderbergers are extremely patient in achieving their long-term goals. The Bilderberg Group, started by an ex-Nazi, likes to see continuation of perpetual wars because they are profitable, as they can fund both sides. Even if a nuclear war breaks out, there are huge underground cities that they completely self-contained, where the elite can live safely. The goal of the Bilderberg Group is one world government with one world global marketplace. The people are kept in check by a one world army, use a single global currency controlled by one world bank. The end goal is no less than complete world domination. Every year, the Bilderbergers Group meets secretly, and the meetings advance this agenda towards the goal, even when facing setbacks like presidency of Donald Trump. Now you can see that these guys are just the scabs of all scabs, the worst of the worst. If you can imagine someone who's evil, the most evil person you can think of, well, these guys are worse. Imagine like what type of person you'd have to be to sit round a table and actually discuss this sort of shit. You know, it's beyond evil, and you know everyone needs to know. And like I say, if you already do know, let people, as many people as possible, know. And another thing, don't let anybody tell you that you're crazy, because you're not. They are, for not knowing. They need to know. All right, so just carry on the fight. We are going to win. They want you to be scared of knowing about them and think, oh, you know, or don't, you know, then we're going to come after us. Fuck them. Literally fuck them. What are they going to do? You know, what's the work? They're going to fucking create a one world government and enslave you anyway. May as well just do your best to fucking get it out there. Get it done. Don't worry about what people think. You're not nuts at all. This is true, and this is happening all around us, as you can see. It sounds quite, you know, we're in the end game of their plan now. So we need to really fucking get out there, mate. Everybody, cheers.